Hi again. This is now the fifth video of the tutorial web scraping of the course Digital Economy and Data Analytics. My name is Eik van Vuren, and in the previous videos we have already seen how to in fact get data from a particular website, maybe better to say how to scrape data from a particular website, which was called fake Python jobs. And we do already know how to get the job title, the company's name, the location, as well as the web address. However, we should realize that we can even get more information, and that is because of the fact that we do already know that at the moment that we are going to go to a particular job into the listing in the original website that we have been looking at the moment that you're going to click on apply, well, then at that moment in time you actually are going to get for example, this print screen that we have over here. This is the what you're going to get at the moment that you're going to, click on the very first, job that was in the job list, and that was this senior Python developer. Take into account that based on this, there is a lot of information that we do already know about, such as, for example, the name of the particular job ad, which was called Senior Python Developer, also the company's name, as well as the location, as well as the date that we have over here. So that is not new, we already knew that, but take into account that apart from that, there's also a description with respect, or more details with respect to the particular job ad. Well, that we would like to store here as well. Question of course arises how we can actually get that. Well, again, one thing to do first is then always to look at the web developers tools, but take into account that both this text as well as the text that we have over here cannot be read so easily. So therefore, again, I have been listing that over here. And a nice thing that we actually see here is that at the moment that we're going to look at the HTML code, that here we actually get this, apart from, say, the title as well as the company's name, we also have here the description of the particular job ad. It actually says professional asset web application, environmentally friendly, detailed oriented asset. Well, I would say myself that if I would have been a senior Python developer, which I'm of course not, then probably I would not actually have been applying for this particular job if I see a somewhat sloppy description like this. But it's probably because of the fact that the people from real Python were not that much interested in or at least did not spend that much time into getting a real good description over here. But take into account that the ID is of course already quite nice to get that particular description and to be able to store that also in our Excel sheet. And take into account that we can actually get our, say, more in particular, this website quite easily. And the reason behind that is because of the fact that we already have been storing that. Take into account that we have been storing that already into this web address that we have over here. So therefore, in order to get the, say, HTML code from this particular web address, the only thing that we actually have to do is to do another request. And that's what I have done over here. Take into account that at the moment that we do already have the web address, then for that particular job, we can create a variable called job page, which is going to request, the HTML code from that particular web address using this, function get that we have over here. This is exactly the same thing as what we have already done before, but now not on the original, say, URL that we were using at the beginning, but now on this URL that we have over here, which we can actually get directly from this variable that we have been already scraping in the past. So that implies that based on that, we can again create an instance of Beautiful Soup that I now call Job Soup. Well, I already created something which was called Soup, so therefore, in order to differentiate that from Soup, I'm going to call it here Job Soup, which is an instance of Beautiful Soup again. And we are going to then get job page, its content, as what we have already done before. And because of the fact that it's still HTML code, we are going to use here an HTML parser over here. And then the next thing that we can do is that we can then first of all get the job content. Well, what we would like to get here is in fact this information that we have over here. So therefore it's essentially this information that we have over here. So if I'm going to do that into a find, then I will be able to get all this block that we have over here. So that's essentially what I do for here. I get the job content, that's a variable, and then it's going to be this variable is simply going to be again an instance of beautiful soup, but now we're going to do that with using job soup, the original say one that we have over here, and then we're going to use this function find over here. Well, we should realize that this is a div, so here we put div then here, and the class of it is this content that we have over there. So therefore we are going to write here content over here. So that implies that based on that, this job content essentially gives us this bit of code that we have over here. But take into account that then we still would like to have, say, this description that we have over here, and that we can in fact get by simply realizing that this this actually starts with this p that we have over here. Take into account, by the way, it's not the only p that we have in this bit of code that we have over here, in this block that we have over here, because of the fact that we also have a p over here and a p over there, but these actually have an ID called location for the first one and date for the second one. But we want to have this bit of code over here. Well, that we can do by simply also using an ID, but in this case we simply going to say that the ID must be empty, because of the fact that since this one doesn't have an ID, it means that the ID is in fact empty. So that implies that we now are going to have a description. It's again going to be now this job content that we have over here. We're going to again use find. We're going to use p, but the ID must be empty. In this case, I immediately actually wanted to get the text and not all these this p and that p that there as well, that p actually. And that means that what we need to do then is to put there in the end it's text. So this will actually now give me this whole description that we've over here. Take, by the way, into account, I haven't said that yet, that the real description as we see over here is much longer than I have listed over here, this since I have to use these dots over here. So that is going to be helpful, and it implies that now the full program is going to be as follows. The first thing that we need to do is to import a couple of different things. So for example, first of all, request, we need to import then pandas, of course, because we in the end want to get a data frame. We are going to import beautiful soup, and we are going to have here a constant for the original URL that we were looking at that had all the different fake jobs. Here we are going to get a couple of different functions, and then in the end we are going to get a very long function main over here, which in fact is going to give us say all the different elements of the things that we would like to scrape then in the end. So we are going to get the job title, the company, the location, the web address, but in this case we also would like to get the description. I could have made an additional, and that would have been a good thing to do, of course, to make an additional function there, but I haven't done it. And then we in the end get the description as well. So then we can write a job dictionary that is going to give us the job title, the company, the location, web address, but in this case also the description. And then we are going to append our original job list, which originally was of course empty. We're going to append that with respect to this dictionary. We then in the end are going to transfer the job list into a data frame, and we are going to write that data frame to an Excel sheet, which is in this file that we have over here. And then in the end what we need, of course, is this line of code as well.